Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Sharks take down the Pittsburgh Penguins 5-0. You are tuned in to Teal Town, USA After Dark. I am your host, Erik Landi. You all know the drill, but if you're new here and you want to be a part of the show, please hit us up on the YouTube chat. I will take a look, and I'll be actually needing all of your guys' input, and ladies' input tonight, because I am running solo. But you can also hit us up on Teal Town USA on the Twitter machine, of course, Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud, Reddit, you name it, we got it. And then also check out all of the great content on tealtownusa.com. You know, all I can say, folks, is where has this been for the last 4.5 months of the season? Because good Lord, the Sharks just bust out the offensive show tonight, and not just among one person, but spread amongst a bunch of different forwards. And it just floors me on beginning. The Sharks just had the foot, the floor, the pedal to the metal, foot to the floor. No audio. Looks like I'm coming in here. Let's take a look and see. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, cool. I'm glad I am not going crazy here. Okay, Raphael's saying that the audio is back. Oh, thank you, Skylar Greenberg, for the super chat donation. Penguins haven't been the same since Dilly punched Malkin in his face. # Dilly.
He's not wrong.
No, he's not. I mean, AJ, you saw that first goal. Was it just something different that the Sharks were doing, or just
they were
up pressing, or I don't know. What I can't explain it.
They were moving their feet. And by the way, my name is not Puck Guy 14.
Sorry.
But they were moving their feet tonight. I haven't seen the Sharks play like this in quite some time. The just that Kane goal, how many times have we seen it just like in the last couple of games that Kane's gotten that breakaway opportunity, wasn't able to bury it, and this time it was like, oh, easy peasy. And Jari is a solid goalie. Like, they have a goalie issue in Pittsburgh. So to see what's going on there, I mean, this is their 6th straight loss. Now, granted, I'm totally excited for how hard the Sharks played tonight, but don't want to get too crazy. This is the 3rd in 4 nights, and Anaheim did beat Pittsburgh last night in SoCal. So, the Pittsburgh is a little worse for wear right now in this roadie.
Yeah, I mean, coming into the game tonight, Tristan Jarry had a .927 save percentage with a 2.23 goals against average. So that is, I mean, those are not slouch-like numbers for sure. So
no.
I think it's kind of the Sharks getting into the groove and really, playing some really good hockey and kicking the Penguins while they're down, So
Well, I love it that the Sharks took advantage of what appeared to be a bad change by the Penguins. But can we talk about the, the elephant in the room when they called the scoring? It was even the little score strip popped out, and Randy announced it. Assists by Vlasic and Hurdle. What?
Yeah, I know. I saw that too floating around. It's I don't know, wishful thinking maybe.
I don't know what that was.
But that would be, the extent of the scoring in that first period. Like I said, Evander Kane with his 22nd, Vlasic with the assist there. Going into that second period, Timo Meier scoring 11-12 into the second period, making it 2-0. That's Timo's 21st on the season. Just a kind of a good passing it around the horn, getting it over to Timo, and he sniped it in. And those are the kind of goals that we want to see Timo score. I think he's got both the ability to be that chaos in front of the net, but he's also got a wicked shot when he uses it. So it was good to see him use his tools.
Well, the best part of that for me was the fact that he fed it over and then almost immediately said, "Bring it back. I got this," and just sniped it. Again, another guy who has been kind of in the doghouse a little bit lately. I mean, both Kane and Timo, you could see like more is expected from them, and we've lost some key guys. You are the ones that need to step up. And tonight, I mean, geez, imagine if we had this team since October.
I know. I know. I cannot get over the effort.
Well, I shouldn't say this team, this effort since the beginning.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. This effort kind of felt like it's coming out of nowhere. And I can't tell the listeners what it is mentally about this team that changes game to game to game. But if they would have put forth this effort, at the beginning of the season, those first games against Vegas, I think the season would have turned out quite different than it is now. And there's been dips, and there has been peaks and valleys in the effort. It's waned and it's waxed, and I don't know if that comes down to coaching. If it's the coaching not necessarily getting the most effort out of the group, or if it's preparation, whether they prepare differently, I don't know. And that's what's most flabbergasting about this season, is that you see these moments of domination, and then you see these moments of utter stupidity, utter stupidity, utter ineptitude. I don't know what else to how else to characterize it, but it's so Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, this team, and I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's the return of Couture sparking something. Maybe that could be it, but I'll take it at this point. Keep her going, boys. And the whole thing is, you got more at home. Keep this going. Whatever you're doing, just try to roll this. You're not going to the playoffs. Take this opportunity to end on a positive note.
Yeah, and I mean, positive note. Well, let's talk about Joel Shellman. I mean, he's got his third on the season, and he's putting together a little bit of a role here. I love his chemistry with Sorensen. It seems like him and his countrymate just have this, this ability to raise each other's games. You saw Sorensen kind of get the puck on the half boards. He takes a Pittsburgh defender, and then he's able to pop the puck back out into the play, into the center ice, which is an area that the Sharks really needed to put their stamp on, get a territorial edge, because we hadn't seen that in their play in a while. And they dominated the slot tonight, and Joel Shellman was able to execute, go far side, and beats Tristan Jarry, and there you go. The Sharks are up 3-0, and that came 14-15 into the second period, and Sorensen with his 9th assist. So
And Sorensen, hello, another guy who's been in the doghouse recently, was a healthy scratch a few weeks ago. So
and so like I was telling the listeners beforehand and the viewers beforehand on the previous episode, it's basically we're coming down to a process game, right? Where you are looking now at individuals, the way that they're able to advance their own process into the game. We're able to see them mature kind of in front of us with game to game to game, kind of thinking towards next season and trying to cement their spots in the lineup. And right now, what Joel Shellman is showing us is that he deserves to be, in that second six, so to speak. It's definitely cementing a spot in that second six. Maybe this is a dark horse candidate to kind of replace the Barclay Goodrow Swiss Army knife, so to speak. That hole that's been left there because of Barclay's departure.
Well, you got 17 games left. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else gets a call up just to see, like, hey, what can this guy give us for a couple of games? Let's at least see how he handles life playing against the big boys. But yeah, I'm liking Shellman so far. It wouldn't surprise me to see him playing on the big club next season, especially use these last 17 games to show that you want to be here. I am so down with that right now. I'm digging this kid so far. Small sample size, that's the whole thing. Is a lot of these guys, they'll hit the rut, they hit the wall after 10, 12 games, and then you don't see them for a while. Let's see if Shellman can maintain this all the way till April 4th.
Yeah, continue to bring the same level of effort, continue to bring the same mental awareness to the ice that he's bringing right now, and just the ability to grind it out, be a really gritty forechecker, be a really gritty grinder. That's what this team needs. So it's good to see him kind of fill the void a little bit. And I'm liking him paired up with Sorensen. Maybe they can make that. I don't know if that was if they were changing forwards and they just happened to be on the ice at the same time, but we saw it in that shorthanded goal the previous game. They just seem to have some kind of chemistry together. I don't know if they're speaking Swedish back and forth to each other or what, but I want some more on that of that cooking. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And if you're the Penguins, you got to be going, the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I mean, we
straight losses.
Yeah, we trade for Karna Shiri and for Patrick Marleau. Yeah, it's like, come on now, we're supposed to be Stanley Cup contenders, and they get blown out by one of the worst teams in the league.
Well, dude, hear me out. Since Marleau left the Sharks are undefeated, and the Penguins haven't won a game. I'm just saying, strange things are happening.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Maybe he is the locker room cancer. Who knows?
Yeah.
Nah. We love you, Patty, and we miss you. But it's good to see the Sharks again. At least just from rooting from individual perspectives, rooting for maturation of players going into next season. It's good to see. It's something that we can take a little bit of solace out of this really crappy year.
Yeah.
Going into that third period, the scoring would continue on when the captain gets his second goal in his third game back. Two goals in 3 games back, I believe.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yes.
And so that's his 16th on the season. Ferraro and Evander Kane with the assists there. Logan kind of just has that, like, all I can describe it as a dipsy doodle kind of goal where it just kind of floats in. It's a floater that went past Tristan Jarry. And, again, it was another kind of cycle type goal where they kind of moved it around the horn, brought it behind the goal, behind the goal line, and then kicked it out to Logan and he scores. And so,
Well, dude, watching that sequence, Ferraro fires it from the point. Couture parked in front of Yari, gets a piece, goes behind him, and it's like, I feel like I've seen this movie before, but I think the names were Burns and Pavelski, but I've seen this before.
right. But that being said, the shot from Ferraro was a little bit different than Burns' typical shot, right? Ferraro,
yeah.
I think it's a little interesting. I don't think that it's the same kind of shot that Burns normally puts in. I don't know. To me, it just looked a little different. I think there was a little bit different of a nuance on there. It could also have been because Mario's shooting from his left side and Logan's a left shot as well. So, and where Burns and Pavs are both righties. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that could be the difference too. But it was good to see the captain get back on the board. And, I think he missed playing. What do you think?
A scotch after 17 games? Yeah, probably itching to get out there. But he even said as much when he came back. He said, because it was coming back right after the trade deadline. Team's a little emotional. I don't know if I don't know that I'd say fragile, but they're emotional. They lost some well-liked guys. Obviously, Brendan Dillon. I mean, you've seen how he's within a week ingratiated himself in Washington, beating the hell out of Malkin. Will do that, but the fact of the matter is you've seen video of Dillon inside the locker room. Like, what was it? His second or third game with the Caps, he gets like the player of the game cap from his teammates. Right. You see him like in the pregame get together, and he's already got, hey, how you doings, and different personalized handshakes with different guys already. So you see that, and it's like, God damn, you hate to lose that guy. And then we know Marleau and Goodrow were very well liked in the room. So yeah, you lose three pieces like that, it's going to be tough. So to get Couture back right after all that happens, that's solid move by the captain. I'm just hoping, obviously he was cleared, but don't rush back when playoffs are not even in the horizon.
Right. No, I totally agree with you there. It's for me, I'd rather be safe than sorry, and I would have shelved him for the rest of the season, to be quite honest with you. But, I think the captain kind of felt the urge to play. I think he also kind of felt the void in the locker room, and it's like, he kind of felt the need to step up. So you can't fault him for that. It's good to see that kind of leadership from him, and it's always good to see him score goals. At the very least, we get to hear Cindy Laufer, right?
Yeah. Sleepy making a great point too is that Ferraro, man, when he gets that puck, he gets it off his stick real fast towards the net. Like, man, if that puck's flat, it's leaving quick.
Dude,
so you gotta like that.
Yeah, it's like it's like he, I don't know, maybe took from the Burns school of shooting prior to this year, because Burns is now, trying to dust it off, and being very hesitant to shoot the puck, where Ferraro is just like, that thing's just coming right off of his stick. Maybe has it on his stick for a second or two just to settle it down, and then it's off. It's just interesting to see those two, the juxtaposition to those two, because you would think it would be opposite, where Burns is the veteran, he knows that he can just get that thing off, and Ferraro is the rookie, and he feels like he has to make that perfect play, but it just seems like it's flipped for whatever reason. No. And then
well, the whole thing too is that if like this game, you sit there after 4 goals and you're going, oh my God, Kane finally puts away a breakaway. You get Shellman with that great use of the board from Sorensen. You get Couture tipping in a nice shot from Ferraro. And then to top everything off, Thornton clearly just kind of trying to throw it over to Meyer, and it just dings off like 2 Penguins in front of the net and just right in for the 5th goal. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know. And Timo is just like elated to see Jumbo, and Jumbo's like, I didn't do anything. I just, passed it to the slot, and it came off of somebody's skate. So good to see the elder statesman get his goal and, basically wraps up the night 5-0. Timo Meyer and Tim Heed on the assists brackets there. And, Mario Ferraro with a 2-point night tonight. Timo Meyer with a 2-point night tonight. Good to see those boys. Oh, Evander Kane with a 2-point night tonight. So it's good to see the big guys, contributing. And
this was also
rookie.
Well, this is also Tim Heed's 100th NHL game tonight.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so it's kind of nice to see him get on the sheet with, on your 100th game. Lord knows that kid has had to fight for everything he's gotten. Now that we've seen that injury to Middleton tonight, he might even see more minutes. Unfortunately, not unfortunate that he might see more minutes, but unfortunately the injury to Middleton. But Heed with basically 14 minutes tonight. That might creep up to 15 and 16. And the thing is, these few games that he has have you heard anyone say like, oh boy, Heed was really out of position there. He got burned there. I haven't heard that at all. And look, I'm not going down the road, but I'm just saying a lot of the stuff you heard about the guy he's kind of replacing, you're not hearing the same complaints for $11 million less. You're not hearing the same complaints.
I can't argue with that. I'll just put it that way. I can't argue with you, AJ. I can't argue with that. I guess we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the injury that Jake Middleton sustained. Basically takes a cheap shot from
Hornquist.
Patrick Hornquist. Yeah, right in front of the net, and buckles. Basically, his knee is not supposed to be going in the way it is. Neither is his ankle, to be quite frank. So I think the kid could be, looking at maybe a shattered ankle and an MCL, ACL kind of injury. It could be both.
I don't know about his ankle. I don't think it's a shattered ankle, but there's definitely tears going on there. It wouldn't surprise me if he's done for the season.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's a season of injury and next man up. I expect this team to be bionic next year at this point. But dude, can we stop losing guys to injuries already? And it does make me wonder, who's the next guy? Is it going to be Davidson that we just got? Is it be DeSimone getting a look? Is it going to be Milosh, who was the last? I mean, Milosh was the last defensive call-up, even though he never saw any ice time. Remains to be seen. You also have to feel like, if you're the CUDA trying to put something together once in a while, it's like, hey, can you guys be healthy for a couple of games so maybe we can get something going? But hey, I know minors feed the daddy system. I get that, but woof. Just a scary, scary injury tonight. You never want to see those. It's you watch it back and shameless plug. It is on both our Twitter and Instagram if you want to go look at it. But viewer discretion advised. The other thing I should tell you though is Brody and company have gone off the air. So if you're joining us, welcome to Teal Town USA After Dark. We do this after every single Sharks game. So do us a favor. Hit the subscribe button down below and tell a friend if you would. We would appreciate it.
Yeah, we would very much appreciate it. We are on the quest for 2,000 subscribers. We're at 1960 so far, so we need 40 more subscribers, and we hit the 2,000 mark. So thank you, everybody, for subscribing if you have already, and if you haven't, please go ahead and hit the bell and hit the subscribe button, and you will get notifications for when we go on. Of course, if you are a long time, you know that we go on after every game, but we also have the notifications for Pucknologist. I think that's coming out tomorrow, and AJ and crew will be down to break the happenings in the Sharks and the happenings across the NHL. So
that should be fun.
Yeah, it should be fun. It's always a hoot.
Well, And so I'm trying to think if it was the last show. I think it was it, I think with you and Erik, I should say the other Erik, that I had said in the chat that I give Jones one more season. Don't buy him. You give him one more season after some of working with Nabby. I don't know if this is the fruits of, labor coming to fruition now after some work with Nabby, but so far, Martin Jones, with the exception of one of the losses, the 4-1 loss to the Islanders, but aside from that, I mean, he's 3-2 over his last 5, including 2 shutouts. But again, that Islanders game was just, that was again, third game in 4 nights, day game versus the Islanders. You could see everybody, like, the controller became disconnected for half the team. Nobody knew what was going on. And over those times taken as well, too, Jones, in 3 of those games, got 2 goals of support over 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, even the loss in New Jersey, right? He posts a .920 save percentage in a losing effort. And so he posts the shutout tonight. He posts the shutout against Minnesota. I think I'm seeing signs of improvement there. I won't say that he's been cured of all ills, but
have you also noticed too that over that time, and I'm not saying this has anything to do with it. I'm just saying it's a coincidence. As Jones has looked better and better, as has the Sharks' defense, minus a certain player who is known for standing in front of Jones when goals go by him. Just saying.
Yeah, I hear you.
Haven't they said that? I mean, basically, they've been saying that Dell and Jones, they've sucked. They sucked last year and they've sucked this year. Right? That's pretty much what has been like the overarching theme. What did they change during that time? I think they spent a lot of money on a guy during that same time. I'm not saying that one has anything to do with the other. I'm just pointing out the coincidence. Because I'm having fun like that.
I know. I know you're having fun with that. And I mean, I again, you can't argue with that. What is the argument to be to that? The statistics don't lie, and the
Jerry,
the play in front, we see it with our own eyes. It's definitely looks different.
How do we have 55 watching and only 14 thumbs up? Come on, everybody. Erik Karlsson, he needs a thumb. Everybody, give us a thumbs up right now.
And here's my deal. I thought that they could make the 2 riverboat gambler thing work. I really thought that they could do it. I really thought that you could have, EK65 paired with Vlasic or Dylan, whoever, and have him sheltered a little bit with a good defensive defenseman on his other side. I thought that you could get that to work, and then I thought that you could get Burns and Šimek, kind of working again. But you know what? Maybe there is something to that. You can only have one alpha on the back.
That could be. I don't know. It's certainly not going to. I see Dalton Proud's name being mentioned as next man up. No, the dude's. He took another. He ended up on IR. They said they were going to activate him, and then like a day later, they put him on IR. I don't know what is going on with that guy. Clearly went to the Martin Havlat School of hockey playing, where you just constantly injured or made of glass. I don't know. He probably tried to get up too quick and like felt lightheaded. And I'm not trying to make light of like, CTE issues or anything like that. The the guy went out from having a concussion. The first game back, he returns, he gets into a fight and another concussion. It's kind of like, dude, maybe this isn't the sport for you. Maybe take up tennis or something.
No, I mean, I think that I think that you are on the right track insofar as it's probably not a good idea for him to be playing contact sports anymore. I mean, I would put it.
That's what I'm
I would put
saying.
it. I would put it a little bit more nuanced and a little bit more finesse on that, but I tend to agree with you, AJ. I think that he's done. And you know what? At this point, me looking out for him as a human being,
Right?
I think that hockey is having adverse effects in his life at this point. And you would hate to see him, have any kind of long-term issues. And we know how the rough and tumble enforcers have gone on to have major issues. I mean, Derek Bugard and so on and so forth. But you never want that for anybody. And so I say to him, take care of yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of yourself first. I know that hockey is in your blood and that you want to play the game that you love, but the game that you love is ultimately going to kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I want to talk about a couple numbers here. The Sharks did get a double minor tonight when a high stick drew blood. So happens. What are you going to do on occasion? But the Sharks did 4 for 4 tonight. So penalty kill starting to work a scotch better. I'll ask you this though: are you now? Bergman gets 820. Nason, who I've really enjoyed so far since picking him up, just gets just a shade under 11. Suomela shade over 10. I can see those numbers if the Sharks are down 3-1 for most of the game. You held serve the entire game. You looked good. Are you a little surprised that those guys, maybe in the last 10 minutes of the game, when it's kind of in the books already, that they didn't maybe get a little more time? Or do you think it's a case of Bugner just rewarding the guys he saw the most from tonight?
I think that we have to also consider this point, AJ. I think we have to consider that Bugner has an interim tag on his coaching title. And I think that he's coaching right now for a job. And so I don't think that that's necessarily healthy for development of players, because the last time I checked in the standings, the Sharks really don't have much to play for. They don't have their first round pick, so they don't have.
Well,
that
that's why I'm saying maybe you give some of the younger guys,
exactly. No, and that's exact train of thought. The last time I checked, the Sharks are, 5 games under hockey 500. And
well, Hugh in the chat saying, how do the Sharks only have 60 points? Because they haven't won a lot of games.
Right. So, if it were me, I would say hell with it. Give Suomela like 19 minutes, 15 minutes.
Well, I'm not going crazy. I'll go 15. Yeah. And then conversely, the thing that's scaring the hell out of me is Brent Burns tipping at 30. Yeah. Damn near 30 minutes. It's like, dude, let's not burn the old man out. He's literally the oldest guy on the blue line. Maybe not give the old man all the minutes. Maybe, and again, I don't want to burn out like Ferraro, but maybe you give Heed and whoever ends up being his partner a bit more time on the back end. Because for me, it's just a case of, it's also a confidence booster. You play a little bit bigger, have a little more edge in your game when coach is giving you some extra time out there to really work things out and feel comfortable.
Yeah, no, I think from a perspective of confidence, definitely. From a perspective of maturing and developing your own game, it's very important to have more minutes, more meaningful minutes. So from a player development, because at this point the season's a wash, in my opinion. It's a wash. It's done. It's over. The cake, the crap cake is baked. You can't change it.
Somebody said they were out of the play, or like they pretty much wrote off the season after being shut out by Detroit on New Year's. With regards to Middleton, though, no updates from Bugner. He said, I haven't talked to the trainers. As you guys can see, it was a lower body. They're probably assessing him now and will know more tomorrow. Although I don't know if they'll put anything out tomorrow. We shall see. We might not hear anything more until Tuesday prior to the Toronto game. Then again, keep an eye on Cap Friendly, because if you see a call up between now and Tuesday, there's your next man up, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, if you see a call up, then you can pretty much write him off, I think, as far as season ending. You know what I mean? Because that did not look pretty at all. And again, if you haven't checked it out, check out the Twitter, check out the Teal Town USA Twitter feed. We've got the injury on there. Viewer discretion is advised on that one.
Yes. The other thing being is the Barracuda don't play until the 2nd, where the Sharks have that game on the 1st against. I'm sorry, they don't play until the 2nd. The Sharks play on the 3rd. So maybe you don't hear the call up until after the Monday game.
True.
But you could very well see the CUDA saying, all right, guys, there's a spot open. Who wants it? Let me see what you got.
Yeah, no, I could see that being also the way that the Sharks roll it, because they're trying to reward their young guys, and I think that's the way that they should play it, to be honest with you. But again, I continue to go back to, let's develop these players. Let's take the time to give Suomela 15 minutes. Let's take the time to give Bergman more than 8 minutes. I mean, from the articles that I've read on the Sharks prospect system, like, people were high on Bergman. He seemed to have, be on the upper side of the Sharks, weak system, but there were some people that were a little high on him. So let's see what he can do with some more minutes.
Well, why Suomela in the doghouse? It's like, gets a game, gets scratched. Gets a game, gets scratched. It's like, how do you put together any type of a rhythm if you never know you're going to be playing?
Yeah, exactly. How do you get some rhythm without having it? So, I think that's. I think I chalk that up to, again, Bob Boughner coaching for his job. And to be quite honest, I don't know that it makes a difference, because with the amount of coaching talent that's on the shelf right now, I mean, I don't see Bob Boughner being hired over Gabby or being hired over Laviolette. I mean, I don't know, AJ. What do you think? Do you think that Bob Boughner has a shot to be head coach?
I think these last 17 are going to say a lot about it. If he can get this squad to consistently play like they had tonight, if they can get that out of them for the remainder of this season, I think he makes a strong case for himself. Yeah. But then it's also an idea of Ricci. I don't believe Ricci's going to stay up here. And there's a couple of guys that came up, like Nabby. I think you leave him up here for now.
For sure.
But those, does, Sommer and Ricci, I think, are going back down next season. So then it's, well, if you do that, then Boogie has to have the opportunity to go and find assistants that he's comfortable with, that he thinks is going to work for this system. John, thank you very much for the donation in the super chat. If you'd like to support the show, what we do here, we totally appreciate those super chat donations. Thank you very much. That offensive attack game tonight, if Boogie can get that out of there, and Steve Cropper, thank you $2 for the $2 for the maid service. Yes, that's why Landi's using the blur filter, by the way. But if Boogie can get that out of this squad for the remainder of it, and you would think you should have something out of there, because these young guys, they want to be on this team next year. Like, they want to make it really difficult for Wilson to justify giving Thornton and Marlowe another season.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. I right now, though, I handicap his chances at maybe 10%. I think that's kind of where I put his handicap at 10% of coming back as the head coach next year. I just think that the field is just too wide. There's so much coaching talent on the fence right now.
I totally agree with you on that, but conversely, here's my issue with it. Boogie's come in and been, a solid soldier. He's had to deal with just ridiculous injuries I mean, it's stupid. Couture goes out 17. He loses Hurdle for the season. He loses Carlson for the season. He, in all likelihood, has lost Middleton for the season. And, Middleton was a call up because Carlson was lost for the season. So there's a lot of stuff. And then you take into account the fact that they sold off 3 pieces during the trade deadline. So Boogie, I think, has done a lot with very little, I should say, so far. At the very least, he's maintained the status quo. If you look at the record that PDB had versus the record that Boogie had, for quite some time, it was almost identical, and PDB was fired after 33 games. Toronto on Tuesday will be Bugner's 33rd game. So you can literally sit there and go in and, match up the two. But then again, when you look at Boogie's, you got to take in all the injuries that PDB didn't have to deal with. My question is, if the Sharks go out and get anyone, Gallant, Boudreau, whoever, anybody they get, what happens to Bugner? Because typically if you bring in a head coach, he wants to hire his own guys, the guys that he's comfortable with. What if this guy's like, no, I got a defensive guy that I like a lot more or that I'm super comfortable with? Then what happens to Boogie? That's my whole thing.
Right. I mean, Doug Wilson could put the caveat on to any of the head coaching prospects that Boogie has to stay. Mm-hmm. And that could be a caveat of the job. It wouldn't surprise me, put it to you that way. It wouldn't surprise me if that was what was to happen. Although, would Bugner want to stay on as an assistant coach? Because he's, he took the, took the bull by the horns after PDB's gone, and he's like, look, I think I've done enough to continue being the head coach. So, it's going to be a question of the offseason is going to be riddled with these kind of questions. And I don't think that there's any clear cut answers at the moment.
I agree with you. And then the other thing is would Bugner sign like a 1-year deal? Like, hey, let's feel this out a little bit longer. Like, we don't want to get completely financially committed to this. And then is that kind of a slap in the face to Bugner? I mean, there's so many things that can happen with all of this. And then say that they go with Boogie next year and things start off next year like they started this year. And boy, after Doug Wilson has fed us time and time again of, it's a reset, it's a retool, it's never a rebuild, and we are going to compete next season. And if you keep Boogie and it starts off bad and you didn't go talk to other people, that's definitely going to be one of the things that fans point at, saying, well, the Gallant was available, Boudreau was available. And now I don't want Gallant. I don't want Laviolette. I would take Boudreau, but I've said it a bajillion times. I'd love to see Marco Sturm behind the bench for San Jose, but we'll see how that happens.
I mean, Marco is right now LA property, and I doubt that they would allow him to field offers, and it would be a good story, have Marco come home. I also think that he's a good player developer as well. I think that he's definitely cut his teeth, in lower leagues. I think he was over in Germany and helping their program.
Oh, he was huge key in that. But correct me if I'm wrong. Boogie was with PDB for a couple seasons, and then Florida came in and said, hey, how'd you like to, have your own bench?
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Maybe San Jose makes that offer and says, hey.
Yeah.
Guys can quit.
That is true. And so, kind of circling around then back to DW, I mean, let's say that the Sharks do come out really slowly again, and the team fails to make the playoffs, for a second straight year. Do we see Hasso finally pull the ripcord on Doug Wilson? Or do you think that he's so entrenched, he's so much Hasso's hockey guy that's not really in the cards at the moment? He's bought himself enough runway.
Is it? I would say that Wilson might, if the Sharks miss the playoffs next season, I would say that Wilson's seat might get like room temperature. but I would never call it hot. And the reason being is because Hasso is not here.
Right.
He doesn't hear the vitriol from the media and the fans, like, owners that are local, like Ottawa and whatnot. Those owners are there. They hear it, see it in the papers. They hear it. Well, let's be honest, they're never going to hear anything about the Sharks on radio here if they were to listen. But there would at least be calls in the media. There would be a lot of stuff saying, or at the very least, like requests to talk to him. I mean, he talks to the media like once a year. And so I think because he keeps everything at a distance, I think that keeps Wilson's seat safe for the most part. Again, show me a GM who's had more victories over the last 15 years than Doug Wilson. That's going to build up a lot of cachet. And everybody's going to sit there and say, well, so what? No cups. Yeah, but the whole thing is all that extra revenue that comes in during those playoffs that he can count on almost every year.
What? So what, in your mind, then, what do you think moves the needle on Doug Wilson's hot seat, so to speak? Do you think that
it's got to be 3 in a row? I think it'll have to be three straight misses. Then he'll start poking around.
What if you have another significant decline in season ticket holding? Do you think that piques his interest? That's money.
Yeah, but I think you can just look at that and say, well, it's because the team missed the playoffs. But because you think about it, dude, attendance has been on the decline since 2014. It literally has been on the decline since the reverse sweep. You can just go and look. It's steadily gone down every. You would have thought that going to the final in 2016 would have maybe brought things. Yeah, brought it back to where it was 2012 era. No. It didn't. You had the little bump in 2017 of season ticket holders because it was the whole thing. Hey, if you buy season tickets for the 2017 season, you'll get playoff tickets now, guaranteed. So there were certain people that were like, yeah, I'll just buy. I want to go to see the finals so bad in San Jose that I will buy season tickets for next year so I can get those. And then I'll sell off some. Maybe I'll go to a couple or whatever, but I'll do it for 1 year. I don't care. But I'm telling you, I was at the Jersey game on Tuesday, bruh. Oh, man, lots of seats empty. The Sharks literally on Twitter giving away tickets.
Right. Yeah, no, so, I saw that too. It was definitely a depressing look, and the optics of that were not great. We're not great at all. So it's interesting. I see in the chat people are talking about when is your fan card, when's it date stamped, and talking about the Teal Town USA crew here. I mean, AJ's a lifer, Puck Guy's a lifer. I was born in 91. So I came into existence when the team came into existence. My first jersey was in 95. So, I've been a fan since 95. Yeah, when I first went to my first game. So, I have had very fond memories of this team for a long time. I mean, Jerk is younger than me, and he has been a fan probably late 90s. I would say 98, 99, probably when he started his fandom. So
people have seen it. Picture of me with Herbe in 94. Yeah. So I've been around here quite some time. John, thank you very much for the super chat donation. John's stepping up for you, for everyone. Where's everybody else? I'm just saying. No, I'm kidding. But 64 watching now. We thank you so much for that. If you could hit the subscribe button, please follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Both of those right now, Twitter and Instagram, have the full video of the Middleton injury. If you want to go see it, viewer discretion is advised. And for the sake of EK65, 60 plus watching, where's my thumbs up?
Okay, all right. Maybe AJ will give some glowing recommendations of EK65 if we can get 65 thumbs up, people.
There we go. That'll do it. That'll be the only way it happens.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, AJ, I mean, I'm in a pretty good mood. I think that there's a way to even make this mood better.
Oh, Christ. All right, fine. Blow through it quickly, sir.
Have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around.
Yeah, you know what time it is. We'll wrap it around the NHL. I'll put that in there for Puck Guy, just so I don't hear it later. Bruins, I mean, they continue their terror upon the NHL. They beat up on the Islanders 4-0. The Bruins now standing at 41 wins. I mean, it's just insane.
Can you see why they didn't care about getting Joe Thornton? I think you can.
Yeah, right. Kings beat the Devils in overtime 2-1. We don't really care about that. Lightning
Dude,
beat the
Devils
Flames.
suck.
Lightning beat the Flames 4-3, and that was actually a regulation win. So good on the Lightning. Blackhawks beat up on the Panthers.
Wait a minute. Well, hold on. It also came out during the show today that Stamkos is going to be out 6 to 8 weeks for the Lightning.
Yes, with the core injury, right? I think he was asked by the organization to have the surgery done. If I read that on Twitter correctly, because I think he wanted to try and stick it out, but the organization kind of stepped in and was like, no, we want you to get that surgery done. So he's on the shelf 6 to 8 weeks. Does that affect Tampa's run? Could we see top line Barclay Goodrow in Tampa?
that would be great.
Oh my goodness. No, I kid people. But yeah, no, interesting news out of the Lightning camp for sure. Blackhawks beat the Panthers 3-2 in a shootout.
Ooh, Sharks
Avalanche
legend Mike Hoffman getting a goal in that one.
Yeah, Sharks Hall of Famer Mike Hoffman. Avalanche beat the Predators 3-2. Kind of putting a halt to the Predators' ascension. They were kind of getting hot. They cools them down a skosh, but be interesting to see because that Central Division is heating up again, and the Predators are starting to remember how to play hockey. So look out. Maple Leafs get a win on the Canucks 4-2. Maple Leafs now sitting at 35 wins. You're wondering maybe they're getting a little bit on a roll and kind of starting to figure it out. Although with the Maple Leafs, who knows? We won't know anything until playoff time and, a Game 7 implosion. I think that's probably where we'll figure it out. Canadians beat the Hurricanes 4-3. Ottawa beats the Red Wings in the shit bowl 4-3 in the shootout. Coyotes beat up on the Sabres 5-2. And the Blues beat up on the Stars 4-3 in the shootout. Well, not really beat up, but they beat them in the shootout. And another interesting game to see who's fighting for tops in that Central Division. I think the Blues still kind of have pole position there, but it is definitely heating up.
Do you think we're going to see a rematch?
You know what? It would be interesting, especially to see with how the Stars stacked up in the offseason, basically bulking up with a lot
Stars? What are you talking about?
Stars and Blues.
No. I'm talking about, are we going to see a rematch for the final?
Oh, a rematch of the final.
Yeah. I mean, both teams are leading their conference.
Yeah. I mean, it could be. I mean, we could have a Detroit Red Wings, Pittsburgh Penguins, part deux, so to speak. With Blues and Bruins. I see both of those paths being quite open. I mean, who outside of the Stars, who I see as the only obstacle for the Blues getting back to the Stanley Cup final, to be quite honest.
You don't think Colorado?
No. I think the Blues prove that they can dismantle Colorado's speed. And, I think Colorado still is a year out from pure dominance. I think the injuries this year, especially to Mikko Rantanen, have been really, really difficult for them to weather. I think it's house money right now for Colorado.
A little bit, yeah. And I hate to say it, dude, ever since PDB came to Vegas, dude, they're on an 8-game win streak, bro. 8-1-1 in their last 10. How fucking frightening is that going to be? And remember, you always get your best PDB your first year of PDB. So damn is what I'm saying. And dude, what happened to my Canucks? Those guys have not looked good over their last 10. Edmonton, they missed McDavid for a little bit, but they're, they got him back, but Draisaitl had 2 tonight. But I mean, you got Calgary only a point out of the top 3 in the Pacific. The Pacific is going to be real interesting to watch. Arizona only 2 points out from Vancouver. Dear Lord, it's going to be, you know what the whole thing is? This is great. Is that I know that my team is not in it, so I can sit here and go ahead, kill each other. I don't care. I don't have a dog in this race. Doesn't matter to me.
I'm cheering for the bloodbath, right?
Yeah, not my monkeys, not my circus.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't even care. Don't even care.
Just don't hurt my Joe Pavelski, right? You know what? He'll always be number 1 in the heart.
Well, that's the whole thing is that, like, okay, you can root for Pavs in Dallas. You can root for Goudreau in Tampa. The thing is, Washington and Pittsburgh with Dilly and Marlowe, they both play in the Metro. Only one of those teams has a hope, can make it to the final without going through the other one. So,
Bronny in Philadelphia. I mean, you could root for Bronny in Philadelphia.
It's not the same.
Oh yeah, you're right.
If that's you can't make me root for Philly, bro. I just can't do it for any reason whatsoever. I can't do it.
Yeah, no, you know what? I've always had a soft spot for Ron Hextall. I love the way that he played goaltender, and so that dude was a man among boys. Yes, he was. And then Winnipeg losing to the Oilers tonight 3-2. And Winnipeg kind of in danger of falling out of this thing. I think they're tied right now with Nashville, but of course Nashville's got 3 games in hand on Winnipeg. So I think the bottom is starting to fall out on the Winnipeg Jet, so to speak. They've dropped their bomb load, and you know what? I think they're gonna miss. And you know what? They did a lot better than I expected them to do. Especially with how depleted that blue line is. They have surpassed my expectations point-wise. I thought that they were going to be bottoms of the Western Conference with that blue line on paper.
All right, the Sharks have 17 games left. How great would it be if they went, 13-4 or something like that? It's because remember, we're getting to that part of the season where you might see guys seeing limited time because their playoff spot is set. Like, they're not playing for anything. Toronto coming up next has not been playing good hockey. They got beat by a fucking Zamboni driver. Okay. So not huge. Minnesota, scary team. Stalock has been playing very well in goal for Minnesota. It's kind of the story that you're not hearing in hockey right now is Minnesota not playing horribly. I mean, they're on a 3-game win streak right now, 6-3-1 over their last 10. It's, hello. Colorado comes in. That could be a tough game for the Sharks. They're still pissed about last year. Then you get Ottawa. If you don't fucking beat Ottawa, I swear to God, okay, then that road trip is going to be tough at Chicago, at St. Louis, at Dallas, at Colorado. That's going to be horrible. But say you go 3-1 over that. You look at this. I'm telling you, 17 games. If they can pull 12 wins out of the next 17 games, it's going to piss Ottawa off so much because of that draft pick. I'm just saying. It'll be a lot of fun to do.
John, thank you again for chiming in.
Oh, Jerk is always down for the Yotes, bud. He's always down for where are they right now? They are
they're
2
out.
points. Yeah, they're 2 points out of the top 3, but there's a 3-way tie for the second of wild card. Yeah, but the problem is, dude, Nashville 3 games in hand, bruh.
Vancouver 3 games in hand, Edmonton 2 games in hand, and Vegas a game in hand. So
Arizona,
I think the run
dude, Darcy Kemper, you should be like well rested, like make a run, bro. Although the other thing too is like they need to start putting Phil Kessel on milk cartons.
Oh
like,
my God,
where the hell has he been?
Yeah, and then, superimpose next to him Taylor Hall. I mean, those two, you thought, okay, maybe you get Taylor Hall and Phil Kessel together. You can get some playmaking and you get some sniping together, but oh my God, like it's like a black hole of scoring there.
Dude, Phantom 44 in the chat. Hoffman was my favorite Shark. Yes. Oh, dude. Comment of the night. Oh, Jerry F. throwing down a $5. Thank you so much, Jerry. We always appreciate a fin. Hello. That is a Sharks thing. Also a reference for a $5 bill. So thank you very much for supporting. Great win tonight for our Sharks. Feels great to celebrate. Absolutely.
Yeah, any win we'll take at this point, right, AJ?
Dude, you know what? I don't even care about wins right now. Skate like you did tonight. Bring the effort that you brought tonight for the final 17, and I can't be mad at you.
You know what? And it's like, man, if we could clone Mario Ferraro and make, clone him for the rest of the team. Oh my God.
Dude, I love this guy's hustle. I love his energy. He's like the defensive hurdle. Just always smiling, always in a good mood.
Happy to be there.
Yeah.
And give us all.
Enjoying life. Oh my God, if we could clone that guy, holy hell, man. And, I did think that, he wasn't used to the 82 grind, and he did hit a little bit of a wall there for a little bit, but he's broken through. You might see that he could be like the next Vlasic for the Sharks, where he just comes up and just plays, for the next 15 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was telling Puck Guy, he reminds me of Braun in his first year. Remember when Braun had that scoring touch when he was first brought up? And we thought, okay, man, this guy is going to be a good two-way defenseman. He's going to be able to push the puck up, and he's going to be a defensive stalwart, and he can throw in, a nice goal here and there. That's what really Ferraro really reminds me of is an early Braun before he was tainted by Marc-Edouard Vlasic's defensive acumen. You know what I mean? But
no, I'm in love with this kid right now. I can't say good enough things about him. The only thing that makes me nervous, of course, is. This was the right play, is that somehow the Sharks have him for another 2 years at less than $1 million. I think that's going to end up being like one of the biggest values ever for the next 2 years. The only thing that makes me nervous then is, what do you have to do in 22, 23 if you still have Vlasic, Burns, and EK65 on this roster? Because Ferraro, that kid is, he's going to demand 5-6 somewhere in that neighborhood. And then what happens in 2 years? Imagine this scenario. His final year in 2 years, he is paired with Ryan Merkley, and they just fucking set it on fire.
I think that's an interesting call, but we also have to remember that he's RFA. So he doesn't have as much rights as a UFA. So you've got arbitration. You don't want to ever use that card, mind you, because that burns a lot of bridges. But let's put it this way: the ball is definitely more in the Sharks' court. They are in the driver's seat of the negotiations than he is. So that is the nice thing to have. The young guys step up for sure.
But I'm just saying, when you're in that negotiating area and you still have $30 million committed to the defense.
Oh yeah.
So, I'm sorry, not 30 million, 25, but still.
No, I hear you. Again, we go back to that alpha male and alpha contract thing, right? I mean, it's not good. It's not good.
They're gonna have to move Burns before them. But boy, if you can, I don't have a problem with seeing Vlasic and EK as the top pair, and then the second pair being Ferraro and Merkley, if that works out. Ooh, yeah, talk to me, Daddy. Ooh, yeah, buddy.
I want some more of that cooking.
Fucking
that's
A
for sure. Yeah, I mean, so it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out for sure. Again, if you guys haven't already, check out the back catalog of Teal Town USA videos. We might have a Mike Hoffman tribute video buried somewhere in there.
Yes. Yes. Oh, and the other thing too we're sitting here talking about guys like Shellman. There's some of the youth, Noah Gregor, but remember there's going to be guys like Blickfeld trying to make a move. All the talk that we heard last summer about Chmielewski and Chekovic, haven't seen them once yet, although, oh my God, earlier today with the CUDA game, unfortunately they lost 4-3 in overtime, but Chmielewski or however you want to say it, he came so close to having like the ESPN number one play of the night. If he buries that puck, holy hell. Don't believe me? Go look at our Twitter feed. The GIF is on there of the move that that Sasha threw down there. Oh boy. Oh boy. But the other two pieces that aren't really being talked about, Jasper Weatherby and John Leonard.
John Leonard, yeah. No, I was exactly thinking the same guy. He's very interesting, a very interesting prospect. We'll see how he comes along. And Merkley as well. I mean, he is lighting it up on the London Knights. If you guys haven't checked it out, London does a great job of posting highlight packages. I would highly recommend you guys go seek them out. But the kid
lighting it up, and we haven't heard anything bad.
And that organization, I mean, it's first class. I mean, Chris Tierney was a third line center coming out of there, and he was, became an NHL regular. That goes to show you how the Hunter brothers do it up there. I mean, they
no, but I'm saying that Merkley got traded. What was it, from the Petes to the Knights or whatever, and there was a lot of like, wow, why would you make that trade unless there's something going on with Merkley and no one knows? Either way, we haven't heard anything coming out that like, oh, Merkley had a problem. He's got anger issues, or he's an issue in the dressing room, or we haven't heard any of that so far. So that's all good signs, because remember, that's essentially that Merkley was literally on people's do not draft list.
Right.
So
no, and I think where I was coming from, is so far as the strength of the organization is that he has a good support system there, right? If there was a team, if there was a junior team that could help this kid mature, definitely sending him to the London Knights was the right call, call for his development.
And hey, next season, if at least during camp or whatever, man, hopefully he like stays with the Burns family, and because Burns seems to like live the right life and does things the right way. So yeah, point him in that direction.
Yeah, I'd love for him to bill it with Burns, and maybe not go with EK65.
Oh, I don't think he would allow it. He'd be like, oh, no, sorry, my daughter takes up all 3 rooms. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Right. Right. Just saying, just because, maybe the attitude is a little different with the Burns family. But
diva-esque at the EK65 household.
I'll digress. Anyhow.
I will not.
Well, AJ, we're hitting the hour and 8-minute mark. We can wrap. Yeah, we can rap really hard all the time. So where can the people find you? What's your final thoughts?
AJ_strong on all the social media. Final thought is bring this same effort that you had tonight for the next 17 games.
Yeah, I totally agree there. Again, the season's a wash, but that doesn't mean that we can't focus on the process. Doesn't mean that we can't focus on having players mature. Let's get some more ice time for the Leon Bergmans of the world and the Tim Heeds of the world. And as far as where you can find me on all of social media garbage using my first name. That's Erik, spelled the right way, Landi. And if you haven't already, please check out all of our different social media outlets for Teal Town USA. Of course, we're on the Reddit, we're on the SoundCloud, we're on the Google Play, the Stitcher, pretty much wherever you can find podcasts, you can find us. So for all of us here at Teal Town USA, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Thanks everybody for joining us, and we will see you next game.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.